This is my in the bag. I'm currently sponsored by Wingz Disc Golf, as well as RidgeRoller Customs. And recently I signed with the Discraft Underground. We'll start off with my putters. I have 3 discs that I putt with. They're all the same mold, they're all Roaches. These 2 here are the main discs that I putt with. And then my Jawbreaker Roach here, it's a little grippier and a little bit more beat up. This is one that I use for a lot of my throwing shots that I need to turn over. Some of my longer jump putts, trickier jump putts that I need to finish a little bit right before they get to the chains. I have 2 other putters in the bag that I throw. Big Z Roach, pretty straight, a little bit of finish at the end of the flight. Very smooth, very consistent. One of the easiest discs in the bag for me to throw. Very consistent that way. One of my favorite putters to throw is the Ringer GT in the Z Flex plastic. It's overstable, handles the wind really well. Every once in a while I have used it to putt with, but not very often. Just very good, very consistent, overstable, fantastic mid. On to the mid-range. I've got a couple different mids in the bag. My mids are one of my favorite things to throw. I'll start off with these 2. I got a Big Z Comet. Love the Comet, it's super straight. If I go to a course where there's a lot of woods, I probably have 3 Comets in the bag. One of my favorite discs to throw in the woods, super consistent. It's super straight. One of the ways I described it once is it's the most stable disc that's trying to turn over the whole way. Just super fun disc to throw, very straight, little effort, and it just goes. Next is Z Drone. Use this for a lot of forehand approaches. Thrown the zone before, the zone's not bad. I just like the little extra versatility and the little extra finish that the drone will give me that the zone won't. My go-to forehand disc as far as my mids go is my Buzz OS. It's overstable, super flat, it handles the forehand really well, it goes straight, has a little bit of finish at the end. Every once in a while I will throw this backhand, but it's not very often. Next I've got 2 buzzes in the bag. Everybody who throws Discraft, they have a buzz in the bag, and I have 2 in the bag, and for the same reason as everybody else, they do what they're told. I can make either one of these turn over, I can make either one of them hyzer. My iDye one here doesn't like to hyzer anymore, but on some of the shorter holes I can still get it to hyzer. This TI Buzz though, I gotta give a shout out to Brian Earhart on this one. He gave this one to me, and it's exactly what I was looking for. A little bit of hyzer, it pops up, holds very straight, and has a predictable finish right at the end of the flight. Great buzz. Last mid that I have in my bag is one of my favorite kind of for trick shots, but they're more like actual golf trick shots. My favorite thing to do with the ESP Meteor is a forehand shot. You know, drop it on a little bit of hyzer, and it just pops up and has a long, slow, soft turn to the left for right-handed forehand. Every once in a while I will use this for some short rollers as well, but not too much. Next we get onto the fairway drivers. I have 3 that I throw backhand. One of these I will switch in forehand every once in a while, but not too often. First we have my vultures. I have an ESP vulture. This is my straight fairway. I can get this to turn over, go very straight. Hyzer, this kind of does it all. It's a little bit longer than my Big Z. Big Z's little bit more overstable, a little bit more consistent. It doesn't like to do the turnovers as much. I can throw more flex shots with this. My favorite fairway driver in the Discraft lineup, hands down. Probably my favorite disc to throw is my Z Predator. This one I've had in the bag for a long time. Very seasoned, very beat up. A little straighter than what a Predator is, but it still finishes just as hard as any of the other Predators that I have, and just super consistent. Next, we got two molds that I do throw as fairway drivers. They're a little bit faster than most fairways, but I throw these forehand, and that's why I still use them as a fairway driver type of a shot. I have two surges, one ESP, one Z. My ESP is a little straighter, a little flippier. I can throw this forehand up to about 425 on a pretty straight line. It'll flip up, turn a little bit, and then hyzer back out at the end. My Z surge, pretty consistent from about 330 to 380 on a nice hyzer, pops up, very straight, and a little finish at the end. But just a very forward moving hyzer on the surges. Next, we've got my go-to forehand driver is the Machete. I got this one from a buddy of mine, Scott Halverson. This is the one disc that I was really looking for in the Discraft lineup. Just a consistent, overstable, smooth forehand driver. Machete is probably the greatest forehand driver I've come across in the Discraft lineup. I've thrown the flicks. They're still a little too stable to be, that consistent, smooth forehand driver for me. Once again, I have two of those. Red one's a little bit more beat up than the green one. Green one I'm just starting to work in, but very consistent forehand driver. Next, we get onto the distance drivers. I carry two molds for my distance drivers most of the time. One nuke usually. I can make this thing do anything. It's pretty neutral stable for me. I can get it to hyzer, I can get it to turnover. Most of the time I do like throwing this thing forehand. I throw this forehand out to about 450. And really I don't need to go too much farther than that. Last distance driver in my bag is Force. I carry three of them, two Z's, one ESP. ESP is probably my favorite Force to throw. A little extra grip, still very overstable. I can lay into it, it's still gonna finish. I really like that. My green Force here is a little bit lighter as far as the weight goes, but very straight, still overstable, but so it's gonna finish, but it takes a little bit longer. This is the one that pretty much right out of the box I could get it to flex. Last is my yellow Force. This is my overstable Force. If I'm throwing this forehand or backhand, its only job is to finish, and that's what it does. I do have three other discs in the bag at the moment. I have what I call a bonus pocket on my bag that situational discs for different courses will go in there. My bonus pocket changes like every couple days, every couple weeks, every couple tournaments, whatever. All depends on what I need for that particular event. Right now in there I have a Z Lite Nuke OS. It's overstable, it's a little bit faster than my Forces, it finishes harder than my Forces, so when the wind really kicks up, it's a great disc to have. One of the last courses I was at, I needed a disc that could potentially go a little bit longer, that was a little bit more consistent on the turnover at the high speed. For whatever reason, this Z Nuke was that. It was a little flippier, a little bit longer flyer than what my other Z Nuke was, and it helped me out a little bit at the last tournament. One of my most versatile discs in that bonus pocket is my ESP Undertaker. For me, it's a little understable. I like to throw this thing flat a lot and just let it turn over on its own. I have thrown this thing for rollers. I do throw it for forehand flip-up shots similar to the Meteor. It just goes considerably further than the Meteor. And that's my in the bag.